People who have stayed in a relationship after their partner cheated. How was it like after? Comment 1, it was super short-lived because of the hardcore projecting. Because she cheated, she assumed that I was going to cheat with all my women friends. She became super controlling and didn't want me to have any women friends. I ended up leaving because my friendships were more important than a broken relationship. Comment 2, I really truly believed I would rise from it and forgive him, get over it, and come out of it stronger. It was never the same. I lost that trust and I couldn't get it back. And eventually, I stopped caring to want it back. It was a 7-year relationship, and although I don't regret it, I sometimes wish I knew to walk out sooner. But it made me realize what I really deserve, and it led me to the forever man in my life who treats me so well and loves me and honors our commitment. Comment 3, caught her in an emotional affair early on in our relationship. Both her and him told me it was a mistake and he apologized and told me it was over. I believed it all. However, I will admit that it bubbled up during arguments over other issues because of how betrayed I felt. It weighed on me to the point where she told me I needed to see a therapist to get over it. I went to 3 of them over a period of the next 4 years. We went as a couple maybe a year after that. Flash forward another 2 years. I found the texts and pics. It never ended and it only grew. The entire time she told me to get counseling. The entire time we were in counseling together. The entire time I worked 2 jobs and 7 days a week because she lost her job and took a year off and I picked up the slack. You do not recover. Comment 4, first was mid-2020. Second was just before Christmas. Third was a year or 2 later, just a single day's worth of messages with an old co-worker, but any guy who saw those messages knew this wasn't how friends should be messaging. Fast forward to just over 2 months ago, she finally chose to separate after we've been fighting, and I find out she's had threesomes mixed with cocaine about a year ago. She's been on Tinder for months. Been fucking a co-worker for at least 6 months, likely fucked another dude or 2 while we were still together, and since the separation, she's been sleeping with everyone possible it seems. Never again. I'm a dude if that matters. Comment 5, it was my ex who cheated on me. We proceeded to stay together for 3 more years, but I never forgot it. It always pinched me. We'd be having the best time and it'd hit me tilde, oh look he still cheated on you tilde, and it hit harder considering the party he cheated on me at. Right before he left it I was vulnerable and told him that please don't do it. He still did it. He got hammered. He crashed at mine. I took care of him all night while he threw up. He still cheated. Comment 6, it's like gluing the handle back onto a ceramic mug. Every time you take a sip of coffee, you see where it was broken. Every time you pick it up by the handle, you micro-flinch, half expecting it to break again. Because you know it's going to. Sooner or later. Comment 7, one of my best friends did this with his now ex-wife, and I helped him through the different stages until the inevitable breakup happened, after she cheated again. The trust aspect was destroyed. He was constantly paranoid, but he loved her dearly so he didn't act on it, he just confided in me that it gave him horrible anxiety nearly constantly. He snuck around and checked her phone, emails, smartwatch, and such every single day. He got good at it too, doing it while she was distracted by other things. He would do pop-in lunches to surprise her, which she thought was sweet, but it was really just to keep tabs. He lost a job because of this. He was convinced she was cheating and left work early one day to make sure, and was fired. His life spiraled like this for 2 to 3 years. He began drinking heavily and smoking a lot. I could appease his need to vent, but nothing I said would ever convince him to just enjoy what he had while he had it. Then one day she left her Apple Watch at home and he went through it like usual and found she was having sex with a guy they both knew for a long time. He tried suicide that day. Didn't work. I got him in some therapy and finally got him to divorce her. His mentality is all fucked up from it in a lot of ways, and has lost a couple of decent relationships because of the trust issues that are burned into his brain. People don't realize how much damage this can do to other people. What's something people typically don't know about cats until they have one as a pet? Comment 1. When they fall off something they just start washing as if to say nothing has happened here, move on. Comment 2. If a cat has a pink nose, the shade of pink changes depending on the weather and temperature. Comment 3. That they sometimes register smell through their mouth, so they'll sniff something or someone or another cat's butt and then stare at you with their mouth partially open in a most unsettling way. Comment 4. If you have a routine, they will adapt to it. My cat gets upset if we stay up late. He goes to lie in his bed and will meow to tell us it's bedtime. And the flip side though, if we try to sleep in, he wakes us up when we usually wake up, lol. Comment 5. I work a hybrid schedule with 2 to 3 days a week in the office. My cat has figured out the difference between an office day and a work from home day. When I'm getting ready to go to the office, he sprints ahead of me to the kitchen and makes sure he gets his breakfast before I can even think about mine. Work from homey days, he stays in bed until somewhere around 10 to 10:30 a.m., then saunters out to demand his breakfast around the time I'm getting up from my desk to make more coffee. Comment 6. I lived with my sister in a 2-story apartment townhouse during my freshman year of college and her senior year of nursing school. We had a cat living with us who was adopted as a family cat when we were little but basically immediately declared himself to be my sister's cat. Anyway, every night, without fail, he'd come try to herd her up to start her bedtime routine. At about 9 p.m., he would start by silently sitting at the top of the stairs. By 9:30, he'd be giving long, sorrowful meows from the top of the stairs. By 10 p.m., he'd come down to the living room and keep walking back and forth between her and the first few steps of the stairs, meowing to try to get her to come. On late study nights, she would try to convince him to come sit in her lap for a bit and he would sit for maybe 15 minutes and then start trying to herd her upstairs again. Comment 7. Mine once escorted me to bed. She knows my bedtime routine, and I was having a really off day emotionally. So that night, she meowed and headbutted me, and gave threatening gestures with her claws on my couch, until I got up to follow her. She brings me into the kitchen and sits in the middle of the room meowing at me. Won't let me leave. So I get a glass of water, she gets me started down the hall to my room, and sits on the far side of the bathroom door while I take my meds with the water. Still, dead eyes staring at me. So then I go to the bathroom. When I leave she follows me to my room, sits outside the door, and yells at me until I close the door. I swear I could hear her pacing outside the door until I turned off the light. Human, you are not okay. I fix. Turn you off and on again. Comment 8, they snore. Comment 9, cats need entertainment too or they will get destructive. I wish more people knew this. It's so heart-wrenching when you see someone has a cat without toys, entertainment, or even their own furniture. Like they're a hat rack that should stay put in a hall. I got a cat pram not that long ago and my cats love it. It's important to enrich their lives, even if you look silly. We got 2 of the doll beds from IKEA and screwed them together into bunk beds. They sit in the corner of the office where there are 2 windows looking out into the backyard. I love it when our 2 cats sleep stacked up there in the sun. Comment 10, they do learn their names and come when you call them, and they will follow you around. Not only do they know their names, they learn the names of the other cats and animals in the household. When my mom passed, I adopted her cat, and while she is super nice to us, she doesn't like my 2 other cats and vice versa. If I call one's name near the other, the cat will look around like, where is she? Oh shit, she might be coming. Fascinating, really. Comment 11, the random running for no reason during the night. And they're louder than you expect a cat to ever be. It's like a small elephant running down the hall. Comment 12, cats, like dogs, can sense when you're not well. I'm currently recovering from sinus surgery and my cat didn't leave my side for 3 days. Extra affectionate. She also seems to sense that my face is currently off limits to boops as she often does. She's more back to normal behavior now, but I had a nice recovery attendant for a few days. My cat is amazing at this. I have a bunch of chronic illnesses, and although I'm generally doing better now, there was a long stretch of time I was essentially bedbound. My little goofy calico will come lay on me, and it correlates with where my pain is concentrated. I have severe neuropathy in my legs, feet, and she'll come and lay on my ankles on my bad days and doesn't mind all my tremors and involuntary kicks.